What's up, guys? Welcome to the line change. In this particular video, we're gonna be going over a report slash rumor that supposedly the Canucks already have a trade in the works, in the pipeline. It's already been discussed. They already have it basically set, and now they are just simply waiting before they announce that they have made a trade, which has really got me thinking. Um, we're going to also go over an article that talks about 4 reasons why this is true and that the Canucks do have a trade in the works already. Um, but yeah, before I do that, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to my sponsor, Gassy Jack Art, maker of that sick artwork you can see behind me, behind my shoulder there, right there. So I'm going to go ahead and thank Gassy Jack Art, my primary sponsor of this channel. And Gassy Jack Art is, he produces hockey prints on archival paper and canvas paper that have been rated to last over 100 years. Their product range features a variety of players from different teams, including the Edmonton Oilers, Montreal Canadiens, the Toronto Maple Leafs, Calgary Flames, Colorado Avalanche, your Vancouver Canucks, as well as more. They also have non-hockey related prints as well, so you guys can check that out as well. And you can check that out at gassyjackart.com. So once again, that is gassyjackart.com. You can also check those out on Instagram, on his Instagram page, which is just at gassyjackart. Right now, he currently has a end of season sale going on where you can buy 2 prints, and then if you add 2 more prints to your cart, those 2 prints will be for free. So you're technically only paying for 2 prints instead of 4, which is a great deal. I myself have taken advantage of this end of season sale, and now I have, 10 prints. Um, but definitely check this out. As you can tell by the picture in front of you, those are 4 of the 10 prints that I have. One of them you saw in the background. Just before, just as I got on, you saw the Quinn Hughes one. And just the way these are, they are absolutely spectacular. And the attention to detail that Jack has in these, and this artwork is absolutely incredible. I am blown away by how good Jack is. And it's a big reason why I partnered up with Jack and why I decided to spend money on these prints, because these will last me 50, like what I said earlier, this will last me 100 years. I'll look back on these 50 years from now, 60 years from now, 70 years from now, and they'll still be in spectacular condition. And it'll be good to look back on this. So go ahead and check out gassyjackart.com to get yours now. This end of season sale will not be going on forever, so get it while you can. All right, let's talk about 4 reasons the Canucks could be sitting on an already complete trade and just haven't announced it yet. This article in particular is from Canucks Army. I will leave a link to it in the description down below. Now, this article is from several days ago. It's from June 9th, so it's from Monday. I actually meant to do this earlier in the week, but other things ended up coming up and took priority. So this is a bit of a late video, but either way, I'm still going to give it to you guys, as it's still a pretty big topic when it comes to the Vancouver Canucks. I'm going to skip the first paragraph because it rehashes stuff that was already said, and due to it being, a few days late, or several days late, I should say. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start from the second paragraph, and we're going to go with, since the 2024-25 campaign wrapped up, the Canucks signed Tom Melander to an entry-level contract, signed a new prospect in Anri Ravinskis. Excuse me, apologies if I mispronounce that. And extended Derek Forbort on a 1-year deal, and that's it. It's understandable if fans are feeling a little antsy What was promised to be a summer of change has hit mid-June without being much of a summer of anything. Now we're just 2 weeks away from the 2025 NBA draft and 3 weeks away from the start of free agent frenzy. That's a fairly narrow window in which the Canucks will hope to do the majority of their business. But is that any reason to worry that they'll be rushed or that they'll just kind of run out of time on making improvements to the team? We don't think so, and here's why. The first reason is the front office group themselves, and primarily the duo of Patrick Allvin and president of hockey operations, Jim Rutherford. They've got a reputation for getting their business done and done early. Each season that they've been in control, the major expected transactions have seemed to come ahead of schedule. Bo Horvat and JT Miller were each traded in January, months ahead of the trade deadline. The pickups of Nikita Zadorov and Elias Lindholm were both also notably early arrivals. These two are not the kind to sit and wait around. No doubt they've been busy. They've also sort of told us that they may have something in the works or perhaps an already complete trade in waiting. When asked about free agency in mid-May, Rutherford straight up said, "We're going to be in the free agent market if we still have cap space at that time. We may get our work done before then." Rutherford has a reputation for many things, but being cryptic isn't one of them. If he says there's a good chance his team is inactive in free agency because it's already acquired a bunch of cap via trade, assume there's a very good chance it's going to happen. In fact, assume there's a very good chance it already effectively has. So Rutherford's words could very well hint at a trade already in place, or mostly in place. Why would the Canucks potentially be sitting on that? The second reason at play is common courtesy. There's no love lost between the Canucks and the Edmonton Oilers, and barely any to be lost between the Canucks and Florida Panthers. On the surface of it, who cares about interrupting these Stanley Cup finals? Honestly, there's some appeal to it, but for better or for worse, NHL GMs tend to try to avoid announcing major deals while the playoffs are still ongoing, and Rutherford and Allvin are definitely the type of hockey guys who, for the most part, respect such traditions. Now, of course, everyone knows the Chris Kreider trade was announced technically yesterday. The New York Rangers traded Chris Kreider to the Anaheim Ducks. Obviously, both the Rangers and the Ducks aren't in the playoffs, so there's actually no actual rule that says two non-playoff teams can make trades, especially involving players who aren't even in the playoffs. So clearly, the league did not take issue with it, or else I'm sure they would have blocked the trade and would not have allowed it to go through. The Stanley Cup Finals could go as late as June 20th, 2025. That is itself just a week before the draft. This could all be a case of the Canucks waiting for that weekend between to announce their trade or trades so as to keep the focus as much on the game action as possible. Of course, there's another set of finals to consider as our third factor. And this is where it gets interesting. And they might be more directly relevant here. This past Sunday, the Abbotsford Canucks punched their ticket to the Calgary Cup Finals with a defeat of the Texas Stars. They'll go on to face the Charlotte Checkers, but the series won't begin until today, Friday. That series could run as late as Wednesday, June 25th. That's just 2 days ahead of the draft. And while waiting that long to make a trade could certainly be construed as cutting it close, it's not quite the same as already having made the trade and simply waiting to announce it. There could be a couple reasons at play here. Similar to the Stanley Cup Finals, the Canucks could simply not want to take any spotlight away from the run that Abbotsford is on. The Vancouver side of the franchise dominates headlines for literally every other portion of the year, so why take away from Abbotsford's one opportunity to be the sole focus? There's also and this is where it gets even more interesting, and this is something that I brought up on Canuck Clay's stream in the chat, and this is a really good point. There's also a very real possibility that some players playing in Abbotsford right now could be involved in one or more of these supposed trades. If that were the case, waiting until the playoffs are over is an absolute must. Can you imagine the blow to morale it would be in Abbotsford if someone like Linus Karlsson were dealt away on the cusp or during the Calder Cup Finals? It's almost unthinkable. And our fourth and final reason why the Canucks might just be sitting on a trade without announcing it is a high probability that said trade involves their 2025 first-round selection slotted at 15th overall. That's quite far into the draft, and that means there's a good chance that certain teams are interested in the pick, but only if certain draftees are still available when it actually comes time for the 15th selection. It could be possible that the Canucks have a somewhat conditional deal on the table, one that would only have the trigger pulled on it if the team they're trading with still sees their preferred selection on the board at 15th overall. Now, we realize that this would be a slightly different circumstance than those previously mentioned, because this one carries with it the possibility of the deal not going through if certain prospects aren't available. And sure, for those looking for a reason to worry, it could be found there, but we'd be surprised if such a conditional trade were to be in place without a serious backup plan or two also in place. This would certainly seem to be ample reason to believe that the Canucks aren't waiting around to make a trade, and instead only waiting around to make a trade official. Of course, until the trade call actually occurs, there's no real way for us to know the difference. That's both the hard and the fun thing about it all. So there's that article. Once again, I'll leave a link to it in the description down below. But I want to know what you guys think about this. What do you guys think about this potential of the Canucks sitting on a trade that is already has like a handshake agreement to it between the Canucks and whoever it is that they're trading with? What do you guys think about this? Do you guys think that it could potentially involve somebody from Abbotsford, and that they're also maybe and yeah, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this. Uh, what team do you think might be the one who the Canucks might have this handshake agreement with, or this deal on the table that they just haven't announced it? Which team do you think it is? Obviously, it would have to be one of the eliminated teams. Do you guys this could be? Do you guys think it could potentially, just rattling one off the top of my head? Do you guys think it could be the first overall pick and La Karamaki, and then maybe Marco Rossi from Minnesota? Do you think that's the trade that they're sitting on? They're waiting on. Um, you know, as someone who has mentioned that I would love to have Marco Rossi numerous times on this channel, like probably you guys are probably sick and tired of hearing me talk about it. Um, sorry, not sorry. I really want Marco Rossi on this team. I think he's absolutely spectacular, and he's 23 years old. He's so young. He's got a very high ceiling for someone who is 5'9". Um, but I'm going to keep talking about it because I really badly want Marco Rossi on this team. If we can get a couple bigger guys, on the wing, like a couple wingers who are big, bulky guys and can move the puck and can, either set up Rossi or Rossi is able to set them up, I would be absolutely thrilled. And I think that would be a big W for Rutherford and Alvin, especially considering that we're losing Besser, and it looks like, again, most likely we're losing Suter as well, because there's still no news on the Suter front. Obviously, it's, as I keep mentioning, it's a foregone conclusion that Besser's gone. I even mentioned, I had one thought, even could the Canucks potentially trade Besser's rights before he becomes a free agent? Something that we saw with Jake Gensel last summer. Could they trade his rights to Minnesota in exchange for Marco Rossi's rights, and then sign Rossi to a extension, whether that's 7x7 or something else, doesn't matter. But that is one route that they could potentially go. But you also have to think, if that is the trade, I'm just speculating here. If that is the trade, I don't think they would wait to announce that. They would announce it, that they're trading somebody's rights for another player's rights. It has nothing to do with, unless maybe someone from Abbotsford is a part of the package. Maybe it's 15th overall Besser and maybe a prospect or somebody from Abbotsford for Rossi, and maybe something else, maybe a winger or something like that. Just kind of spitballing here. But once again, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this. Who do you guys think this trade could be? Who do you think the trade partner could be? And when do you think they might announce this? Do you think they'll wait until the Calder Cup final. Maybe they'll, you know, announce it maybe in a week or maybe 2. Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, if you guys like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you want to stay up to date on all your Canucks content, whether that's Abbotsford Canucks or the Vancouver Canucks, be sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a single video. You can find us on social media. You can find us on Facebook. Just search The Line Change to find our Facebook page. You can find us on Instagram at The Line Change. You can find us on X at Line Change Van. You can find us on TikTok at the.line.change.po. And feel free to give us a follow on all of our social media platforms. If you prefer an audio version of this podcast, you can find us on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. On Spotify, once again, feel free to give us a follow, as well as rate and review us, as it is greatly appreciated. And I appreciate all of you watching and subscribed. Once again, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this. Give me some spitballs, some potential trade scenarios that the Canucks may be sitting on. Let me know. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.